think we have a problem.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Droid Pit Podcast. With the host, as usual, is my magnificent co-host, SogeMoge,
Hey guys, welcome again.
and me, Dab.
Yeah, we
So
are the same oily pit droids sitting in our pit,
yeah,
beeping and
this,
booping about
this,
stuff.
this time only the pitfalls and no other guest.
But a lot of ships to fix.
But a lot of ships to fix actually. Yeah. So, like Sochi said, today we will do another one of our rankings. And the last episode towards our Hotshot and Aces series, ranking series. So when the podcast comes out, you will also see our rankings. You can see our rankings, and for those of you who listen and who are new to what the S, A, B, C, and D rankings are, I will go shortly over them. The S ranking is the near OP ships, the really good ones. The auto includes. Not that I think Legacy has really auto includes, but those that are really strong and you can always throw in a list without second thought, basically. And then there is the A, which are also really good ships. They are they are not as strong as S. They are really strong chips over the field, strong chips in their chassis, but S is a little bit higher. That's A is slightly under ships that you can chuck in a list, whatever. But A is still very good. B is playable. They are good ships, but more than the other two, they need practice to leverage its advantage. They are representing niches and only work within a certain niche, whereas A is more generalist.
Yeah, I would say that they are not good. They can be fun, they can be interesting, but they mediocre. They are mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
so
are mediocre with. I think they can be good, but they are mediocre on an average skill level.
yeah,
You
they
need to
need
really
a really
put in the work.
skillful player to make them shine.
Yeah. Then there is C, which are more situational, fun, but they are slightly under mediocre, and even with hard practice, it's it's hard to get them to get them really to shine.
Yeah, I'd say that they are accessory ships. They can do a support role, do a fun mechanic, some gimmicks, but you cannot rely on them.
Yeah. And D is basically the worst pilots which aren't really any good or are really hard to play.
Yeah,
Overpriced.
they can be unplayable, or the other pilot options could outshine them by a big margin.
Yep. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go to the pilots. We will talk about the resistance and the first order pilots from Hotshot and Aces, and afterwards go over the pilots from one ship of each faction we chose.
Yeah, and we start with the Jewel Gergerod. It's a TIE bomber for the first order, and he has initiative 4 and interesting ability. So his ability says that, wait a second, what did I say? After you perform a boost action, which is also HS's action, you may spend one charge to remove one non-lock red or orange token. So he has two charges, three charges actually. Yeah, and he can shed off red or orange tokens after the boost. It could be either the Pursuit Thrusters ability with the boost in the system phase, or the red boost as his action. So he can even do a red boost and get rid of the stress.
And on the TIE Bomber, these ships, stress is really not good for them.
Yeah, with only straight blue maneuvers. So looking at him in the ranking, I would say he is not higher than B. He has moderate initiative. 4 is good. I love 4 initiative. And he has an ability that can let him maybe escape or have a better engagement with this white boost.
Yeah, but and I think I agree with B. I think that's a poster child for why when chips are B, it's this advantage can be good, but you need to know when to apply it and really the skill and practice to really leverage it.
You really need to create a strategy for this ship. It's not just pick one and go win some tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like his ability for the defense when you can disengage and get rid of what can he get rid of? He can take, for example, power cell, deuterium power cells to recharge shield.
Yep.
And since it happens in the system phase, he can recharge shield, then boost to get rid of the disarm.
But, yeah, and he can. I'm thinking, what is there anything where you can system boost because these bombers really like to system boost, and then get outside of the stress. You get, of course, system boost, and then use the ability for something another bad token, because the stress you can clear with a blue maneuver.
Yeah, but you cannot boost with stress in the system phase.
You're right.
So I say it B.
Yeah.
It is B. So let's move to the next ship.
Yeah. To
Taka Jamaresa.
Taka, yeah.
Jamarisa.
Taka, I think, is C. He has a fun ability, but we will get later into the resistance pilot transport, because that's the ship I choose for. It's I think it's C, because the downside is that you must assign you must jam. So having double jam is actually a really good ability. Perhaps I just read it.
Yeah, maybe we should say what it is.
Yeah, after you jam, you must assign one jam token to another ship at range 0 to 1 of the jam chip, if able.
Yeah, it's a resistance transport, by the way.
And a resistance transport, yeah. At initiative 2. Yeah, like said, it's assigning 2 jam tokens is really strong, but it's situational, which make it C, because you have to have a jam action, and most of the time probably you use it as a support piece which wants to coordinate. And even going into one of the best core options for it, the Llama yeah, you mainly use it to coordinate. So it's situational on that, and you have to have a ship when you jam, and it can backfire also, because if there's only one ship in the of the opponent there and you really want to jam it, now probably, or it could be that you also have to jam a friendly ship because
or yourself.
that's must, or yourself.
Yeah. But
Um,
again, if you are jamming, you are most probably don't have any tokens on you.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Mm, but it's still not good.
Yeah, I think it's just a flying advanced proton torpedo, but not proton, but jamming. Advanced jam torpedo.
Yeah,
You do it once, and you try to make it count, and then just try to get rid of the stress.
yeah. But the issue is also, I think there's a much better pilots. I think short of the generic, this is the worst pilot in the chassis.
No, I really don't understand the coordinate one. It needs too much points to be useful. Too many points.
I don't think so, but let's go into this later.
Okay. Next
Um,
one is Lieutenant Galek. It's a TIE 4 fighter at initiative 5, and his ability says, after another friendly ship at range 0 to 2 is destroyed, you may perform a coordinate action even while stressed. While you coordinate, the ship you choose can perform an action only if that action is also on your action bar. So basically, it's baked in squad leader upgrade,
yep,
but only if someone dies.
yeah,
He's relatively cheap, initiative 5. Good supportive ability if you want to fly TIE Swarm. I would say he's A, because you don't really lose anything if you bring him in the squad.
yeah. I agree. I think he's cheap enough where like those extra points doesn't really matter, and basically even for play, if it was a plank ability, just initiative 5 on the TIFO with, like, I think 6 points more than the generic, is, even if it would be just initiative 5, is nearly good enough to make it A. But
Yeah.
on that, on top of that comes really nice swarm ability.
Yeah. So next one is Zay Verso on T70 at initiative 3.
Yeah, I grouped. Let me look through my notes.
It says the ability
yeah.
says, while you defend, if the attacker is damaged, you may reroll 1 defense die.
Yeah, I rated it as B. I was debating A, but it's still, there are still better abilities in the T70. Granted, I don't think it's a bad ability, because it makes the chassis really sturdy, and she isn't that much more expensive than a generic, just 3 points for the I1, so probably worth on that alone. But there are so many pilots in the T70 where I think there are better ability for, like, a bit more points.
Well, I was list building with resistance recently when I asked my audience on the damage from Tales from Damaged Cockpit channel on YouTube, what should I play? They said Bow, Falcon, and I had to build into resistance. And I looked at him 1 point cheaper than Initiative 4 pilots with these great abilities. And I chose who I chose. I chose Temin for 2 point more
Yeah,
because I couldn't really play from his ability, like reroll a green die when your higher initiative bodies damaged someone, and not a lot of lists could benefit from it.
yeah, that's another thing. And for 1 point more, I can get such great pilots like Nimi, who reads who when you perform an attack and it's initiative higher, which as at initiative 2 is basically guaranteed, you can convert a blank to an eye. So just the comparison, this ability I think is stronger than, for example, say, and I need to have 1 more point for it.
Yeah, I even
I
I would look at the Jagri Stabs, who is initiative 1 and can help getting rid of stress.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. It's that said, I think it's still not a bad ability. Like if I want to have if I have, for example, have only A wings and who are all over the place, and I want to have a T-70, and I'm staffed for points. Probably, say for example, could be a nice ship, but it also has this prerequisite where he say actually wants to have someone damage the ship fast.
Yeah.
And at
So
that point,
yeah, where we will put him?
I would say B.
B.
Do you agree?
Mm,
Or A
comparing with
or
the
C?
options, yeah, since it's a T-70, I don't think that any T-70 could fit into the C category.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's still an option if you need initiative 3, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I tried to build with the resistance A-wings, and there are a lot of pilots at initiative 3.
Yeah, I think that's also another thing which is could be an argument for it. The T-70 has not a lot of I3 pilots, and I think just looking through it, this only shows the striker, which I would consider a versatility, because after you lose a shot, you gain a strain, an evade token, which is not as good. Yeah, like that's probably the best use for it. If your rest of your squadron is I3 and you want an I3 T-70, say is I think the best option, but only in that specific case.
Yeah, okay. Next one for the first order is DT798. So initiative 4 Typho fighter with it's like we have her at the gunner. I think, or where is he? I can't remember.
He is
I
in
guess he, yeah. It's a officer, and his ability says while you perform a primary attack, if you are not strained, you may gain 1 strain token to roll 1 additional die. So basically, it's more capable version of Scorch, because Scorch has the same ability and uses stress. But with the stress, he loses the ability to sloop in the next turn. But DT can do it, and also DT has an option to take, for example, Proud Tradition. and roll two attacks in a row, keeping his guns at target.
Yeah. And this train is I think is not that much of a price to pay, for example, compared to stress.
Yeah, it could be a problem at higher initiative, like 5, for example, but there are a lot of higher initiative ships, and playing him, I felt pretty safe with the strain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
like
put him in A.
yeah, I agree. I think TIFOs across the board are really just like are really strong chips. But yeah, I agree, it's a great ability. Yeah, and for 34 points, which is like a bargain. It's really if you lose him, it's not the end of the world, which is with his ability even more worth it. Then we come to Lando. Then now we come to the stronger pilots of the specs. Yeah, he is really good. Um, he is an i5 scavenged YT 1300. And he says after you fully execute a red maneuver or perform a red action, you may spend any number of charges to choose that many friendly chips at range 0 to 2. The chosen chip may perform an action even while stressed, and you got 3 reoccurring charges. So it's great. It's borderline S. I I don't think I have actually I was debating I'm not sure if A or S. I think the upside is that it's one of the very rare abilities where you can give actions or tokens out to multiple ships in the same round. Yeah, and even while stressed. Granted, yeah, and himself also. Granted, you have only one recharge and you are only 5. The issue
Yeah,
is a bit for S, I'm not completely sure for S, because you also have, like, for example, Wei in it, who I think is more of a spot for S.
well, you should play against him having Corsella's crew title, which lets you do um, uh, boosts while stressed and after sloops, and the C3PO, for example, who lets you coordinate and then gain a calculate.
Yeah.
It's so bad playing against it. So many actions, so many health, great attack capability.
Yeah, I think you are convincing me for S,
Yeah, and
especially like you said with the combos with 3PO and of course like the 8 upgrade slots
yeah, for what?
you have.
Just imagine, uh, he is he dialing his maneuver, and you try to guess it. He can do any maneuver. He can coordinate after that. Rotate his arc. It's red. He does another action. He's like triple stressed. Then the next turn he does a blue maneuver. Um, eh, and he's ready to do his shenanigans again.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, probably S. I was thinking a bit if Way overshadows him, but probably Way is different enough
Yeah,
where
Ray is straightforward pilot. She wants to fly head on, shoot as hard as she can, and you can catch her off guard.
yeah. Yeah, I think you convinced me. And next time I need to fly him.
And please speak with the
Um,
balance team.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm not biased. I'm not biased. by any means. So
Yeah, probably another pilot which can go up in points
uh,
a bit,
yeah,
but
but
yeah,
we'll see with the more data.
yeah.
So let's go to the next one, Agent Tyranny, the doom of X-Wing, which she was before the release.
And then you don't see it.
Yeah,
I even think in both editions.
yeah. I play her sometime in the practice league. It's relatively fun, relatively fun. Um, so my take on her. She's a blank XCI shuttle. Like you take it just for the condition and maybe occasional coordinate, but then
Perhaps say what it does
yeah, but
for.
yeah, I will go. I will
Yeah.
yeah go to it. So maybe occasional coordinate, but then she stresses herself, and um, the next round it dies because of like uh, very few blue maneuvers and low health. So she's an initiative 3, can't even fire properly. But her ability is basically giving a condition to one of the enemy ships after setup. But um, you choose the enemy ship after setup, give it a condition, and after that, multiple things happen. A lot of. So this ship has a broken trust. So he did something horrible to his squad mates, and they don't trust him anymore. And he even doesn't trust himself. So he treats friendly ships as allied. So no ability that says friendly works, even on himself.
Yeah,
Yeah, then
which is fun.
non-enemy ships treats you as allied. Uh, Non-enemy ships, yeah. So you treat friendly ships allied, they treat you allied, and they cannot affect you with friendly um, abilities. And then while you performing an attack, before declaring the defender, uh, each allied ships in the attack arc um, that are not stressed gain 1 stress token. So basically, if you try to shoot someone and you have allied uh, past friendly ships in your firing arc, everyone will be stressed. It's it really messes up your target priority, your flying, everything. And then how do you get rid of it? After you defend or perform an attack, if the defender, so uh, either you hit someone or someone hits you, if the defender was dealt at least 1 face-up damage card or was destroyed, remove this condition. So you can deal a face-up card on someone or destroy someone or get yourself a face-up damage card. So
Yep.
it's really strong and can shut down many abilities, even those great abilities which players are relying on when this building. But again, I played Tyranny against Paul Falcon and shut down his great ability and still lost because Agent Tyranny is 50 points of blank ship in your list.
Yeah, and it's still a stress. So it's really strong because there is not not such a huge requirements to get on her ability triggered, and it's like, okay, you get a stress and you can do nothing about it, but it's still only 1 stress.
Yeah, you cannot stack multiple stresses with that.
Yeah, which would be slightly OP.
Yeah, and it was a good decision to place such an ability on a blank ship, because this card really forces your opponent to play differently, to adapt to new conditions, and it's fun to play against, and it's fun to play with it, honestly. And maybe it's a good thing that Agent Tyranny is so useless.
Yeah, it's quirky, it's funny, it's highly thematic. I don't know too much about the Resistance series, but I think it's very accurate to what happened in the Resistance series.
So I think it's a B.
Yep, I agree. Nice situational niche ability.
Yeah. So next one.
Okay. Next one we come to Poe Dameron in the YT 1300.
Mm-hmm.
It's I6 because it's Poe, of course. So he needs to be I6. And it says before you execute a maneuver, you may spend 1 charge if you do ignore obstacles during that maneuver. This is one, the first part. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may spend 2 charges to perform a wide boost, a wide boost, or a wide
No,
barrel roll action.
wide boost action, not boost action.
A wide boost action, yeah. Or a wide barrel roll action. Then, if you perform the wide barrel roll action, expose 1 damage card if able. I ranked him at equally to Lando. I was a bit hesitant to say it's S, but I'm probably would say S, because it's first of all i6 on a really strong chassis, and then the ability is just bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Um,
about S. I played 2 games in the past week with him, and I tried to field him slim with just a title and a trick shot, because he
oh,
can ignore
yeah, yeah.
obstacles and fly around them more easily. And I didn't felt it as S. A for sure, but not S. Maybe there are builds with a lot of upgrades that makes him shine a lot, but I was too afraid to fly him like that, like because of I was flying resistance almost for the first time with that setup.
Yeah, that I think he could. I would say, yeah, probably A, but if with a bit of experience, he could be S, because ignoring maneuvers is, I would say, one of the best abilities you can have.
Ignoring obstacles.
Ignoring obstacles, and especially on big ships who normally have a bit of a problem with obstacles. And yeah, and then on top of that, he can do a wide boost action. So inbuilt, what is it? Inbuilt, let me see what I wanted to say. Engine upgrade. Essentially, yeah,
Yeah, but
and
it's not just an engine upgrade, it's additional action.
yeah, and an additional action.
But only every 2 rounds.
Yeah, but probably it's enough that like
Uh,
70% of the time where you want to boost, you can boost.
so with Poe, I think there you need to plan ahead more, way more than Lando, because if you choose to ignore obstacles and it costs you 1 charge, and you have only 2 with 1 recurring arrow, so the next turn you cannot do like the next turn you can do a boost, but when you do a boost or a barrel, you cannot do it again. And if you went to one charge at the new turn, you should make a decision whether you want to ignore obstacles now and postpone your boost for 2 more rounds, or you do like the regular stuff and try to save up this second charge.
Yeah, and he's in comparison to Wei and Lando a bit cheaper, which is also helping.
Well, let's put him in S, but I cannot really agree to it fully because I lack of experience with Falcons.
Probably, yeah. I am torn a bit. I think it with a bit of experience he is S. Also, I want to say, I really like that for the top 3, I would say, pilots for the YT, for the Resistance Falcon, every pilot is really has like different flavors, and does it well. Like Ray is really straightforward. Dutch Dealer Lando is a really straightforward and good supporter, and Poe is incredibly mobile, which I really like that they are not all the same. So it helps that they are balanced between each other.
Okay, let's go to the next one. It's Lingava. It's again another Thai 4 fighter for the first order, and she also has a condition, but this time it's totally different. So she's an Initiative 3 pilot, and the ability reads at setup. After placing forces, assign the primed for speed condition to yourself and up to 2 other friendly Thai 4s or Thai SFs and Thai SFs fighters, and that have no equipped modification upgrades. So their modification upgrades have to be empty at the setup to get this condition. And what this condition does, it says primed for speed. Add a wide slam action to your action bar, so you can slam whenever you like. After you perform a slam, you must suffer 1 damage to remove 1 disarm token. So basically, the first appliance that you can imagine with this is enabling quick draw ability right at the start, before everyone shoots.
Yep.
Yeah, so you do a slam into range 1, shoot someone, and I don't know what you can do with that later. Maybe die. Yeah.
I mean, one of the nice thing, I mean, theoretically, if with the back arc, you can possibly use it 2 times with still shields.
But you have
But
only 1 bonus attack per round.
Yeah, but next round you can do it also, and you have the backup.
I
But
don't
it's
know.
probably more situation.
Yeah, it's well, I haven't played her yet because I'm scared to field her, knowing that my ties will be to 3 hull without shields, and yeah, you can play from it like taking fanatical and thinking maybe, on the first engagement I will be using fanatical and maybe evade, but you are losing shield for that.
Yeah.
And I
Yes,
don't think you can get a much greater positioning with that.
Probably. I think it could be nice if it could be a good way to exploit if your opponent makes some setup error. Like if he loses or if he has vulnerable sheep. Was so ship. Like sorry. Yeah. Some vulnerable ship. Left it apart from the rest of the group. You can exploit the error with this ability really well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so if you took it, maybe you don't want to play from it. Just use it occasionally.
Yeah, but I think the cost reflects it. It's still a very cheap TIE fighter, so
Yeah, but
you are not losing much.
yeah, it affects your list building, so you need to field more TIE-4s or TIE-SFs.
Yeah,
I'd put her in C.
I would say B
Mm,
because it still can be good. I mean, there's other good TIE FOs and TIE SFs. And swarms are always possible, so I don't think I think it's good. It's still cheap.
but the trade-off is, I don't think it's worth it. So the trade-off is 8 points. A shield upgrade. So you're basically losing
Yeah,
a budget of 8 points using
yeah,
this ability.
basically. Yeah, from that angle. Okay, I agree with C.
Maybe one of our listeners will play with her and tell us
Yeah,
if she is higher than C, maybe B, maybe even
yeah,
A with some hidden combo mechanic.
yeah. Why? Yeah, if you like always, we're looking forward for feedback. If you agree, tell us perhaps with some battle reports, and if you experience a totally different power level, then of course just say we were dead wrong
And please
so no X-wing.
and please don't submit her to me. I don't want to play her. At least now. Maybe later. Uh, and we have the final guest of our list.
Okay, then we come to Winisa.
Inisa Doza.
Winisa Dosa.
Yeah.
And I rated her at B. Like you said,
What is she?
she's an I4 T70 with ability while you perform a torpedo or missile attack, you may treat the forward arc requirement as a backwards arc requirement for that attack. If you do, treat the range requirement as 1 to 2. So it's a really funny and interesting way because normally munitions only shoot forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I rated her at B because, like I said, it's a T70, so per chassis, it's not C.
Why not A?
um, I I was debating it, but I think A. It's not a ship you can have it in. You can have in any squad and just say, okay, I go with it. Because you need for the ability you need to invest in points, and you need to fly her in kind of a different way.
Well, I
Because
wouldn't say a different way. You just don't do a tell and roll after the first engagement. You just go with one forward or something like that.
yeah, that's true, but still, um, you need to have a lock on that ship, and
And
it's still 1 to
there
2.
comes Lander to play.
Yeah, actually, yeah, possibly a really good combination. But I think just the pilot on its own is B, but it can be enabled. Yeah, you're right. But I think just the pilot on its own, it's a nice ability. Really does it make to cover more area, and I think it's a great deterrent. But
What
you need to invest points.
what if you take tracer missiles and shoot
Ooh.
just with the focus?
I never considered that because I don't really fly swarms. good idea.
Yeah, there's no need for swarms. You can have like 4 ships for that, even. But everybody gets a lock, for example. You can
Yeah,
you can pair
yeah,
you
and
can get
then you
like
can,
four X-wings at
yeah,
initiative 4.
and yeah, yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I
and
have I
it's
have a feeling she's like
A,
between maybe A and B, or not just straight B.
not straight. I will give you that.
Okay, let's put
Um,
her in the like in the middle.
yeah, and yeah. The issue is a bit with any T-70 pilots. It doesn't help that there are so many good T-70 pilots to choose from.
Yeah, but the chassis itself is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
But I
it's
think
ridiculous.
for for A, it's always for something to be truly A, it needs to be really good in comparison with other chassis pilots. I think that's the main argument where I would say it's in between and not fully A.
Maybe yeah, maybe yes. So we are done with the Hotshots and Aces II for the First Order and Resistance.
Yeah. So next we will stay with resistance, perhaps, and when we planned that episode, we already had some talk about some potential disagreement, I would say, because we were not really, or let's say, I like the or I'm more fond of the resistance transport than you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
um, and I have a lot of pages prepared.
I play Resistance with these guys. Disgust.
Okay.
With disgust.
Yeah. I like the resistance transport. It's I I I think the main argument when you went like cover everything except cover is DRC,
Yeah.
and I said no,
And
and said okay, I gonna pick the transport.
and Kova with Leia. Leia is A.
Yeah, but I disagree about the rest. um, so let's get through the pilots.
Well, I
Uh,
have a great argument. Uh,
okay.
I I encountered only one player who was consistently playing Rebel transports besides of Covanel uh, in our Russian community, and it wasn't higher than C.
Okay.
Not for the skill of the player, but the opportunities that Transport Pod gave him.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll look it through a different lens. Um, okay. Let's start with the transport. Because we want to spend a bit of time on it, I want to go through the stats shortly. It's 2 attack, 1 evade dice, 5 has 3 shields, has focus, lock, white coordinate, and white gem, and can equip 2 cannon upgrades, is a crew transport, and has a astromech, and also torpedo. And I think from a baseline, the resistance transport I rated the base resistance transport I'm actually teetering to see, but not the pilots later. Because I think the chassis is still good, mainly because it fills a niche that just the base chassis niche that there isn't really any other ship in the resistance, because if you want to have like a cheap coordinator which doesn't die immediately when it's get a bit of heat, there isn't really anything other.
Well, I think that if you want to take a support piece, Rose Tico on the pod will be a greater
Uh,
deal.
yeah, but it dies easy. That's what I meant. It's the resistance transport is more sturdy.
No,
If you want,
if you take all the rerolls from her ability, she's really hard to kill.
probably.
And with the C3PO, you have only like 32 points total. It's really cheap.
Yeah, but then still, you need still it's green dice. It's of course it's tanky, but you can just not roll good things. Just not roll evades and possibly bump, and then it's possibly not too good. That's what I meant with if you want something that's more reliably sturdy, because you have something in your squad which really likes a supporter. For example, like we had Venisa, and isn't like Lando points. I think the transport has a unique niche.
Okay,
Um,
we will see it in the future, maybe someday.
yeah. But that's why I said the resistance, the baseline is C or B, because of that role. And if you go through the pilots, one we already discussed, with when we start with Pamage, who is 1 point more, while you have 2 of your stress tokens, you may execute a red manu even while stressed. I think it's B. Probably mainly because it's it gives you a bit of more maneuverability and allows you to do the backward move, for example, a bit more, or stay on the spot. It makes blocking a bit better.
Maybe, yeah. Not a bad one.
Yeah, and it also makes, if you equip Llama, it also it gives you a better reach for your coordinate.
Llama? Who is Llama?
Llama. Yeah, Llama the AC. While you have 2 of your stress tokens, you can perform a reinforce, coordinate, or jam action even while stressed. So if for example, if it's a really game deciding round, this extra bit of mobility and then coordinating can be really nice.
Yeah, I just imagine I imagine playing the game and then waiting for this perfect round to use it, and then like dies in one round of shooting. Great.
Yeah, that's why I said it's still B, but I think like for the price, if you time it well, it can be really, really nice, because it can get you also out of harm's way, because this transport doesn't really want to shoot. You can get it easier, more easier to stay back.
Maybe. Okay.
And survive.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
B it is.
Okay, then we come to Taga we already had. And then we come to Nordin, which is 4 more points, which I considered. I was hesitant on. I don't think he's A, but B doesn't feel right.
A for the transport pod? Are you insane?
I didn't say A, but upper B.
Upper B? Are you crazy?
Hot takes today.
Well, it fits the same like role of
Yeah, but
Pamić Nerogodo good. Pamić
yeah,
Nerogud Goody.
but what is really nice about him, you can coordinate and jam, for example, in one round, which is really nice.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so I would say B.
And then you what?
Then
Like
comes
you need to get rid of the stress for 2 rounds straight in order to use it again.
yeah. And yeah, I mean you still have, for example, what you said, who is it? Core. To get rid of all that stress relatively easily.
I don't know. Corcella is pricey, 6 points, and you get to 40 with it.
Yeah, but you can do you can do it, do your plume maneuver, and then do it again, and you get like 2 actions, which I think is really good, even for 40 points. And it's sturdy enough where it doesn't get one-shotted.
Yeah, two-shotted, most probably. Two-shotted.
But it is.
Yeah.
It can't get one-shotted. That's when I meant. So I would say B. And then cover nail is A.
Yeah, with
But
certain
it's all
upgrades.
also just for cover nail says while you defend or perform a primary attack, if you revealed your revealed maneuver is red, roll 1 additional die, and of course, getting a weight and attack dice is really, really good.
Yeah, and we pair her with the Leia Organa.
Yeah, but then it jumps to
54.
54 points.
Yeah.
Which I think that's why the other pilots have a time or have a chance to shine or are an option, because cover is such much more expensive.
I would say are an option, but not with shining.
They are not outshining, but if you want, like I said, if you want a cheap supporter, then you really doesn't like cover is more expensive too expensive to be really cheap, because you always lay on her.
Yeah. So that's it with the transport.
Yeah, we are everything set with the transport. Then we come to your ship.
Okay, let's go to the silencer in the first order.
Yeah.
So I will be continuing this ranking with the transport. So we have a lot of pilots since the first Hotshots and Aces came out. So the first one is Seinar Jarmus Engineer. It's a solid A tier ship. It costs like 49 points, or 49 points.
49.
Yeah, it's a good value for the price. Even if initiative 1, you can get sensitive controls to do a system phase boost or barrel to mess up with the enemy positions.
Which on this being initiative 1 is a straight upgrade.
Yeah, and with such points, so with 49 points, it's a really solid choice for a list. You can fill any list with this.
Yeah, and it's sturdy enough as a blocker.
Yeah.
That it's I think it's a better blocker than, for example, TIE Interceptor.
Yeah, for sure.
Even with the adjusted price.
Yeah, six health is a lot.
Yeah.
So the next one is Avenger. Avenger is a B tier. It's not a like auto include for sure. It's initiative 3, and it's a supporter. So not a supporter, but like he plays from his friends. After another from the
Perhaps
ship is
Nielsen.
destroyed, you may perform an action even while stressed. So I played him a bunch of times, and most probably he will be one of the first target. And it's really hard to counter it at initiative 3. So most probably he will die first and will not execute his ability.
Yeah, but then you like if you leave him naked, it's still only a still only a force of your list,
Yeah,
and
it's
you have to sink some shots into him.
yeah, but you don't want to play silencer to tank something,
No,
basically.
perhaps the I one,
Yeah,
because
but they have the opportunity to get better positions.
yeah,
So with the next one is the first order test pilot, initiative 4, generic, nothing special, but I really love interceptors at initiative 4. They are very versatile, and at 55 points and maybe 1 point for fanatical, they are great piece and
yeah.
can be really a core of your list.
I think that's the really nice thing um, about I really like the generics, because oftentimes if you have like a higher initiative on such maneuverable chassis, the I1 is relegated to mostly not being played, or it's out of the two generics. If you have to, it's mostly you take one of just one, or just one is clearly better than the other. But in the case of the silencer, it's a different story, because the I1 fulfills a completely different role than the first order
Yeah,
test pilot, and plays differently.
yeah, and they are really scary. So they have auto thrusters, and if you take fanatical, they can punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one is recoil with the same 55 points, and you can see him as a replacement for the I54 generic with same cost, but he really needs some upgrades to uh, uh, like to get a value from his ability. So he, while he's stressed, he may treat enemy ships in his forward arc at range 0 to 1 as being in his bullseye arc. So what can you do with it? You can take, for example, Predator.
Which, just to say it, is without upgrades a plank ability, and I think that's why, because it's 55 points.
Yeah, yeah. You need to have some upgrades in order to use it. So you can take marksmanship, you can take predator, 4 rerolls, you can take the proton rockets for bullseye attack at
Oh,
range 1.
yeah, and then add on to it Predator. For
Yeah, but predator is only on primary attacks, so you can pair it with marksmanship, for example. We're
yeah,
talking about rockets. And I found a pretty fun build for it. So basically, you want to play it with auto thrusters, because you need to be stressed in order to execute this ability. So you like activate, do an action, then auto thrusters, barrel or boost, and you're good to go. What I found is fly and recoil with sensitive controls. You take a proud tradition, which allows you to focus even while stressed. You take sensitive controls, of course, and you take proton rockets. So what can you do? You can you gain the power of sensitive controls. For example, you can like park in front of an obstacle and then fly away harmless. And if you time it right and plan your maneuvers, you can reposition in the system phase, get a stress, then fly with the wide maneuver. With proud tradition, perform a focus, and then activate your ability, activate proton rocket. And I managed to pull it off, and it felt really great. It was
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
It's like this. It's an ace up its sleeve,
Yeah.
and
Um,
you still can fire proton rocket without your ability, just normally.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, Proton Rocket is such really really good value to have it increase into range 0 to 1 is range 1 is really really good.
Yeah, and I forgot to place both of them into A tier, like the
Yeah.
generic and the recoil.
Yeah, the silencer is just such a good chip.
Yeah. Next one, Rush. This was an addition from Hotshots Aces I.
Yeah. I
So
think do we want to go over it or
yeah, of course, it's initiative 2 with a trick. So while he is damaged, he treats his initiative as 6. So basically, you are a good blocker of first half of the game. Then you get like a Center Fell syndrome. You like take 3 hits behind the cloud at range 3 with the focus, and then you are an
that's
I6.
that's the best description I heard for some abilities on your Phelps syndrome. I like it.
Yeah, basically it's like the 80% of Rush games where you don't plan to gain initiative 6 right now, but you do.
And it's really nice because in the early stages, blocking is more effective because there are more ships to block. And then as the games go on and chip dies and the end game pieces are left,
Yeah.
um, it becomes less valuable. So right around where it becomes less valuable, suddenly you become the ace and the exact thing you need.
Yeah. And but even if it sounds cool, but you lose half of your points with
Yeah.
that. And you can be in this situation where you played as I2 and you planned the next round as I2, but then you become an I6 and you have nowhere to fly, for example. And that could be a
Yeah.
problem. So
Yeah.
with that complexity, I would like to place him in B.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can be played with a good skilled player efficiently. Uh, I no doubt it. But generally, I tend to go B. Next one. Deb, are you here? Okay. I will go next with the Blackout. While Deb is doing his things behind the curtains, I will say that Blackout is my favorite ship, and I'm very proud that I got the uh, the prize kit quick play card of him, like with the full art, this like wide version of the card, and I love it so much. And I loved him before the sensitive controls came out, but then
So I'm back.
yeah, welcome back. But then when the sensitive controls came out, I this ship really got a second life.
Oh yeah, I can
Yeah,
speak to it because I've flown it for 2 leagues in a row.
yeah. So
It's
before
it's
sensitive
one of my
controls,
favorite pilots.
yeah, mine also. It's my favorite pilot. Maybe before 066. So before sensitive controls, he had a blank ability, mostly blank. While you perform an
Yeah.
attack, if the attack is obstructed by an obstacle, the defender rolls 2 fewer defense dice. So basically, he rolls -1, with the keeping in mind that he gets a bonus of an obstacle. And you couldn't really play from that ability because obstacles, obviously. And if it triggers, you're happy. But other than that, just fight him and as a blank I5 silencer. But when the sensitive controls came out, oh boy, slap a trick shot on him, park before an obstacle, shoot, then sensitive control with the barrel roll, and fly away. So great.
Yeah, and it's really fun because it's completely like normally you avoid obstacles, and now you really like obstacles, which is such a different from normal pilots.
Yeah.
And it's
He's really fun.
yeah, and also it's really fun the okay, how much do I can go forward to have the opponent in arc,
Mm-hmm.
but have then a second round behind the obstacle.
Yeah, funny thing, when 2.5 came out and it had the first iteration of scenarios where you could score points at the round one, I would love to do like a really ridiculous thing. Blackout could field a proton torpedoes, as well as scrambled. How is it called?
Scrambled sensors, which
Yeah,
is also auto include for me on
yeah,
thing.
scrambled sensors. So what would I do? I would have a husk on XCI shuttle, um, who mm, who would coordinate Blackout for a focus, and that the first round Blackout would decloak, do a 5 straight to the center of the map. That way, that he is like millimeters away from the central obstacle which I would place beforehand, and there would be a and central objective also. So he is with the focus on the center of the map at initiative 5, doing a um, proton torpedo target lock with the trick shot. He scores points. He shoots like 5, 6 dice with his proton torpedoes. And most of the enemy ships just die in the first round with that, because you know someone like trying to reposition himself, like, no, I won't do a linked action with a focus, or I will just do a barrel roll, and they are just defenseless.
Yeah, and also I think he's a really good reserve ship. Like when I play him, I usually play him especially with like sensitive sensors and sensor scramblers, like which are I always play him with. In the middle, and wherever the fight happens, I can just go with sensor scramblers, and the sensitive controls go 4 sideways
Yeah,
or for really for straight before my maneuver. So he can be just in the middle and do a 2 straight, see where where he is most needed, and then just right go there.
yeah, that's totally true. But I will place him in A because
What
reasons.
else?
Not
Okay.
S, because he's still a one. He has one modification, like one focus.
Yeah.
And even if he can be so unpredictable and tricky, he he's still a regular silencer.
Yeah.
So, and you really need to work with his ability to make it count, and
Yeah,
it
that's
dies
true.
as quickly as the others. And the second reason is there is Kylo.
Oh yeah. Probably ranking as D.
Yeah, Kylo is S,
No.
obviously. Yeah, Kyle is S. If you're not familiar, but I think that most of you are familiar with him. Initiative 5 silencer with 2 force, and he has mostly blank ability, like a complementary one. So after he defends, he may spend 1 force to assign "I will show you the dark side" condition to the attacker. And basically, he chooses a crit from his damage deck and makes sure the next crit he suffers will be that exact crit with the pilot pilots pilot how does it called
With the pilot crit.
yeah, pilot type.
Yeah.
So double modded monster. What can I say? Just slap, target lock, then reposition and shoot with the force.
And I mean, the price you pay for it is 78 points, and probably, and if you really want to go high, you slap supernatural reflexes on him, and then he is like nowhere to be to get an arc.
Yeah,
But even
it's tough.
my friend really likes him too, and he plays mostly with where is it extreme maneuvers, just for 5 points more. This I can turn is so annoying as an opponent.
Yeah, and he can do it in any part of the auto thrusters, so before and after.
Yeah, and then it's just just the right angle you need to not get him barely.
Yeah. He's really tough to play against and to play with also.
Yeah, because that's one that's I think also one of the old or the 2.0 the legacy blocking system has over, for example, the 2.5 blocking system, is that if such expensive pilots get blocked and you can shoot on them, you can really hurt them in comparison. For example, if you would play as in comparison 2.5, you just target focus and the stress. You don't care about the stress because he has enough blue maneuvers, and then the bump is not really that that annoying because
But punishing.
I still still punishing because I still get my action, and and that's one of the strengths of the legacy bumping system or 2.0 bumping system to even out the odds.
A little advertisement by the end.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a nice ship to mention it.
Yeah,
Why,
of course.
how it's why the old bumping system could counter such expensive ships well.
Yeah, and you can also have some fun shenanigans on him, like taking, for example, iron rockets and instinctive aim, for example, something like that for cheap cheap range 3 ordnance, for example, or something like that, or even with the
Because
advanced proton torpedo or proton rocket.
that's what I wanted to say. It's because it's double modded. It's really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sensor scramblers, of course, is really strong too.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's also a skill dependent upgrade.
yeah, it's more than blackout. You really need to know when to use it. But it's really nice on him because he is so valuable to get him into ranges where he can outflank the enemy or get behind the enemy and not taking damage.
Yeah, he
Because
always flies as a single distraction from the rest of the list.
and then if the opponent focus down, I lose one shot, but I have like 5 or 6 queen dice, so I weather what's coming from the enemy and then use my maneuverability to get behind it.
Yeah, and one of the last pre-AMG big tournaments was won by Kylo Tafson and Initiative 5 Bomber. What was it called?
The Breach.
Breach, yeah, Breach. So it's also a great combo.
Yeah.
So I guess we covered everything for today.
Yeah. Was thank you for listening. Give us feedback. We are always open to it. Love to hear what you think. And tell us if you want to have the if you no matter what you think, if you think we are totally wrong and the resistance transport should be A, tell us.
Yeah, even if you hate, even if you hate us, tell us about it.
Yeah, even if you had every single if you think we rated every single card wrong, we would love to hear why and how.
Don't make me destroy you.
Yeah. So all the links will be in the descriptions, like Discord server invite and the link to the ranking itself, the picture. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye bye, Pit Droids.
Bye. Yeah. Bye, Pit Droids.